So now we're going to talk a little bit about the minefield that it could be of partner program execution, how to actually run this in this now complex landscape. So if we heard from the panel, partner bases can vary in sizes. Like, so we have companies that we know we're attending today that might be emerging new to the channel, might start with tens of partners, but then you can scale that up. We work with companies, and we have companies on this panel that are working with thousands of partners. So, you may have to move from a single incentive program, you may have to run multiple programs. So Laura, again, if I can just switch back to you and just ask, in your experience and from your own practice in the industry, can you share some good practice of what you see about how to successfully execute incentive programs? Maybe, from your experience, either with large volumes of partners, or if you've got experience then with maybe scaling a channel where you've had to build up to that.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of moving parts to ensure that the execution of any incentive program is being able to be measured so that you can quantify what you're actually doing and driving in the business. We want to make sure that the partners can easily work with you and identify what the incentives are. Having too many is probably just as bad as having not enough. And so we want making it easy for the partners to understand what the programs are and track their performance. That's why we've partnered with Channel Mechanics, is to give better visibility to our partner community for them to be able to see in a demo program, or if it's a trade-in program, or even their rebates, what they're gaining on a quarterly basis, to see where they're stacking within the quarter. You salespeople are competitive at heart. So it is something that you see that if you can easily identify what the incentives are and to where you are within a quarter. You never just want to be making just enough. You want to maximize those incentives. So being able to display them to the partners, it brings out that competitive nature for them to try to strive and get the highest amount that they can. And then you want to make it easy for them to be able to claim those payments. There's, to me, we used to get these comments back. My partner received $5,000. Can you tell me what it's for? That tells you two things. The program perhaps didn't really influence their buying or selling behavior, and or because we didn't have a way for them to see how they were achieving money back from Poly, they weren't able to understand the true profitability that you as a vendor bring to their business. And it's much more than just, the margin on a transactional deal. It's about being able to quantify what you bring as a whole. And so with these programs, making it easy for them to see how they're gaining incentive dollars back, ensuring that they are even going in and clicking and accepting those dollars so that they understand why they're getting them. It keeps that communication open and allows them to see how you're investing back into their business. So it makes it easier for them to then focus on sell your products. It also allows you to have accountability for your programs and where you're investing those dollars to make sure that they're working. And sometimes, let's face it, we do create programs that may be too complex. We thought it sounded like a good idea when we were talking around a table, but then being able to execute in the channel, it has to be able to something that they can actually do. Otherwise, they won't even put it forward. It'll be stopped before it even starts, and you won't see the benefits of it. So for us, making sure that we have it on the partner portal really helps, making sure that they have the tools to make sure that they understand a one-stop shop of what all your incentives are within that quarter. And just taking some of the complexity out of it, I think really will help drive the business for anybody thinking about implementing channel programs.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely super insight, Laura. Actually summarizing a note that, in what I would call olden times, the expression was, tell me how you're going to measure me and I'll tell you how I'm going to perform. But you've clearly elevated that now. Look, show, don't tell, which is the new mantra. Show me how you're measuring me, show me how I'm performing, and then I will work with you to amplify your brand, become an ambassador for you. So powerful insights. Thank you for that. Okay, Brenda, I'm just going to keep the pace up again now, and this is the last poll question for the audience, so everybody can take a breather after this one. If you want to move to the next poll then, and let's get the audience's view of what they find most challenging today, Brenda, about managing incentives, please.
Thanks, John. So this one is a multiple choice one, so please feel free to answer for as many as you would like. So first up, do you find that your incentives program is time consuming and resource intensive? Is it difficult to accurately target the desired audience? Is there a lack of visibility of performance and an inability to measure the return on investment as a result? Do you have issues around payments, tax and compliance? And finally, of course, if you don't run incentive programs for partners. So people are still voting, and as I mentioned earlier, yeah, we have a good few questions after coming in from the audience, so we'll get to those shortly, but do feel free to pop a question into the question box. Okay, I'm going to close that off now, John, and pass it back to yourself.
Super, thanks, Brenda.
Yeah, John, if I may, sorry to interrupt, John.
Yep.
I just want to kind of chime into something Laura said there that's really important. Is so often vendors pay out rebates after the fact, right? So as Laura said, like, you get a call, I got this $5,000 rebate, what did I get it for? So it's so important, I would say, to the audience, that make sure your partners understand what you're rewarding them for, because it comes back to if you're going to do an incentive, you're trying to drive a specific behavior. So if you're going to pay somebody $5,000 or whatever it might be, you want to make it as sure as possible that it is doing what you want it to do, and not just paying them out and they haven't a clue what it's for. And really the best way, as Laura said, is like a visual dashboard. No more spreadsheets, no more doing it after the fact. If you're going to run like a quarterly rebate, it's so important that you show the partner how they're performing against their targets, on a week-by-week basis at a minimum. Otherwise, you can't impact sales if it's for sales you're trying to drive, etc. So just kind of want to reinforce that point, John, because Laura does these at volume at Poly, and to be impactful, you really have to work hand in glove with your partner so they truly understand what it is you're trying to do.
Yeah, no, absolutely, point well made. Kenneth, thanks for adding that additional context.
John, can I jump in real quick? Just real quick
Absolutely.
on that too. I think just one little comment, and not to belabor it, but I think we're all looking for differentiation, right? We want to stand out, right? We want more of the partner's time. I think this is a big thing, right? The more you can make it easy for the leaders, principals, executives, owners in a partner organization understand the full profitability that they're making through the wealth of investments you're making into their business, and make that easy for them, that you're going to stand out in a strong way, right? In amongst a lot of the other folks that are out there. And it is a challenge, right? There's legacy systems that we all have to deal with. There's a worldwide approach and many things that come into play, but we have to continue to evolve that and make it easier. And that the more we can do that, I think helps us stand out and drive the partners to say, I want to spend more time with you because I can see how that's going to help me grow my business.
Super. Thanks, Don. And again, a recurring theme there is to make it easy. We hear that time and time again. Keep it easy, right? Make the complex simple for your partners. Okay, good. So Don, you come to the floor again. So one of the things that we'd like to get your perspective of is, as a vendor, you've got internal teams that you need to work with to support the successful execution of these incentive programs, and then bring that message, of course, out into your partner community. And as we know, partner account managers have a huge role to play. Quite often they're either field-based or they travel frequently to get that sort of partner engagement and mind share. So can you share again, just from your practice experience, how you do that? How do you get your colleagues, your internal teams, to buy in and actually get your incentive message across out into the wider community?
Yeah, John, it's a great question, because I think there's a few things, right? One is we spend a great deal, and have looked at, most recently how we do things differently around awareness, right? It's no longer, you can send an email with a PowerPoint and say, hey, here's your incentives for the year, right? As you mentioned right there, the partner account managers are asked to do so many things, right? And manage so many different situations that are going on with their customers and deals and other aspects in the world today, right? That they're having to deal with, and doing that, we need to get innovative and look at new ways to and continue to build awareness internally. I think the other thing that is key, and we've seen a lot of success this last year on your sellers, your partner account managers comp plans towards your incentives, right? If you get everybody rowing the same direction and focusing on the same things, you're going to be able to really maximize those behaviors that you're looking to drive, right? If you're focusing on a few things and you have that in their comp plan and designed easy for them, it's going to drive a lot of those behaviors. And then I think the last thing ties back to that again. I don't want to belabor it more, but that Amazon-like experience. If we can be proactive to the internal teams and alert them of what's going on, give them KPIs that they can then go in and have that conversation with a partner, right? We don't want the conversation to be, after the end of a quarter, the frustration, I missed this incentive tier or something by this amount, right? We want it to come a week beforehand, and so they can look at their pipeline or their registered deals and say, how do we incent one or two to then build you more profitability on the back end, right? So the more that we can do to put that in front of in an easy way for our partner account managers and the partners themselves, will drive results and things we're looking at to continue to improve in this area.
Super, thanks, Don. And Laura, if you had anything to add to that, because I do feel that the programs, people, you design this beautiful program, but it's only valuable if it becomes used and executable, and you need your colleagues. So do you do anything different to ensure your internal teams row in behind and get it out there?
Yeah, so we work with our internal teams. Instead of sending out PowerPoints, we're leveraging more short videos, things that they can use to be able to quickly understand what's available to them, and then also they can share those videos with their accounts to help promote different programs that are available to them. One of the things that we're also doing is trying to implement more tools to make sure that our account managers become sellers again and not administration people, because before, not having an easy place to go to find out where they are in the quarter, how are things looking, they spend more time looking up trying to find numbers and where their accounts are, so that they can try to talk to them versus trying to sell to them. So making sure that we give them visibility of where their accounts are in the incentive programs and a total view changes the conversation. They're really the trusted advisor for us into those accounts, and making sure that they're working with them to grow the sales, to make sure that the partners are getting all the information, how they can leverage, our programs to bring more dollars back into them, things that they can do early before the quarter closes, so that they're not missing a goal because they missed it by $1,000 to get that next percentage payout. And so for us, it's really making sure that we're giving our internal sellers, they're just as much of our customer, that we need to make sure that they have the tools as the partners that we're creating the promotions for to go out and amplify our sales.